God's unchanging love. Here I raise my Ebenezer. Hither by thy help I'm come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger interposed his precious blood. For songs of loudest praise, teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mountain fixed upon it, Mount of God's unchanging love.
Happy Saturday, Evensong family. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are so happy that you're here. Welcome to the family. And if you are regularly chatting with us, welcome back. If you would either go head over to the chat and let us know you're here, or you can sign in online. That way we can keep in touch with all of you. What a week. There's so much happening this first week of the year and so much going on. So I'm really grateful for this time together that we can just connect and engage with each other and continue to build this community as we figure out what's next this year. Some really amazing things that are happening are this. So we just wrapped up our Advent book just in time for Epiphany. And our next book is on the horizon. So on Thursday nights at 5:30 on Zoom, we gather together and read a book and chat about life and things that are happening. And it's a gift to my life. And if you feel like I don't have time to read, Jen, that's okay. Come join us anyway, because a lot of times there are life applicable conversations. So The next book we are reading is called When They Call You a Terrorist, and it's about the birth of the Black Lives Matter movement, with this being Black History Month and next month being Black History Month and Martin Luther King Day coming. It felt really important for us to read a book to honor that. And so there will be lots of opportunities to engage together and talk about pieces of this book, but we would love for you to join us. You can shoot me an email, jkloeppel@gostandandrew.com, and I'm so excited. It's one of my most favorite books for us to just get to chat together about this. So please join us. The next one is that we are in the midst of January, which means we have new service opportunities for you. So in addition to collecting food and socks and hats and all of those things, we have service opportunities on the ground. So if you're interested in serving at Denver Rescue Mission, let me know. We have new dates that will be coming out this week for breakfast or dinner. It's an early morning start, but it's a gift to your day, or it's a great way to end your day. But we'll be serving meals there throughout the month of January. So, and lastly, Rev Jerry has created this really beautiful prayer podcast that I would love for you to listen to. You can find it on our podcast channel, and you can listen to it whenever you'd like. But what a beautiful way to start our day, and it follows beautiful liturgy and prayers, and it's a great opportunity for you to kind of center yourself and take a deep breath to start your day. The question today, so if you're new here, we answer a question every single week in the chat, or it's something to reflect if you're not ready to share, and that's okay too. The question today is, I had a really good one, and now I can't remember it. That's funny. What was your first pet? That's what we're going to go with. Tell me what your first pet was. My house, was a no pet zone growing up. And so one summer I was in 3rd grade, and I went to COSI, which is in Columbus, Ohio, with my friends. I think it was Girl Scouts, and we were studying life cycles. And so I got this tadpole, and this tadpole was like, I was in it to win it with this tadpole. It was going to grow into a frog. I was going to have this frog for life. His name was Ed, and he died on the car ride home. So that was my first pet experience, and I don't think I had another one until I don't even know when, but that frog was not meant to be. So tell us what your first pet was. Tell us why you chose it, or if you have pets now. And then also I would love for you to share any prayer requests that you have, or celebrations over there, just so we can be in community with each and every one of you. Today we are going to talk about community and transformation and restoration as we kind of kick off this year, and I think that those are really important coming off the week that we had. If you are like me this week, I was already a little stressed trying to get my feet back on the ground after Christmas and school starting and a pandemic still going and all of these things, and I think so many people had said 2021 is going to be it, right? Like all of a sudden the clock was going to hit midnight and we were going to have this like fresh start. And I love the hope in that, and I love the celebration in that. There's just so much trauma and baggage I think we're still carrying. And so how do we transform out of that? How do we restore our hearts and souls coming out of that? And so I want to explore that a little bit tonight. And then everything that happened at the Capitol this week is weighing heavily on my heart, and I'm sure it is on yours too. And on Wednesday, we invited you to pray with us and light a candle, and we've kept our candle going. And if you would like to, or if you missed our prayer that Rev Mark sent out and we posted on our Evensong Facebook page, you can head there. But we're keeping our candle lit. We're going to continue to say those prayers for safety, prayers for peace, prayers for just kind of figuring out what's next, because it feels so chaotic right now. And so how do we look? DC feels so far away, but we're all one country. We are one big community. And so then how do we look into our own communities and our own backyards to provide restoration and transformation here? And so I want to read this quote that I shared in the email, but if you don't get our email, you should. But also, I'll read it here for you. And it says this. The Genesis story has a tree at the center of the garden whose fruit gives life to all who eat of it. Then in the very last chapter, from the beginning to the very end, the symbol of the tree in the midst of our promise is sustaining life everlasting. The tree is always with us. Change will come, but it will not be absent from the life-giving connection. How wondrous is it to contemplate in this season that the tree of life was at one time connected to another tree of life, that this symbiotic witness gloriously proclaims that we will never have to do transformation alone. May you see that you never have to do transformation alone. And what I love so much about that, there's so many things, but I deeply believe that when we feel our loneliest, when we feel the most lost, when we feel like we don't know what the next step is, it's important for us to look in community and look at the person next to us and say, how do we show up together? How do the things that I'm passionate about or the things that I'm worried about connect to my neighbors? Because we are so deeply connected. And Peyton the other day said, Mom, it's like in The Lion King when they're talking about the circle of life, right? Like the antelope eat the plants, and then the lions eat the antelope, and the rain feeds the plants. And so it's this circle that's constantly connected, right? And so I don't know that that's the perfect example, but I do know that when we live connected to each other and we are able to feed each other through our presence, then we can transform the world and restore hope and light and love. And so I think the point of that is that everything plays a role. And so as you look at what's happening in our communities, in our own backyard, and then nationally, it's an opportunity for us to be fully present with ourselves and fully present with God as we figure out kind of how we feel and how we answer what that next step is for us and for how we show up. And so I deeply believe that community will provide transformation and restoration. So let's figure out where we're needed and what we need in that. And you may need to disconnect for a little bit to kind of rest your soul and figure out where you belong. You may need action, and that's great. And so where are the places that you plug in? And you can't plug into all of them, but let's find one or two that work for you. And you might just need somebody to say, it's okay, we're right here with you, so that you no longer feel alone. And so I think that the most important thing for you to hear is that the things that you're feeling are not things that only you feel. These are things that other people are feeling lonely. Other people are feeling anxious. Other people are feeling like everything's out of control. Other people are feeling depressed or joyful. You may feel joyful right now, and that's great too, right? But your feelings are valid, and you are not alone in feeling those things. And so even on really dark days when you feel like nobody is with you and God may not be with you, God is fully present in this moment. She is. And God is fully present with you. And there is somebody sitting ready to just sit next to you and remind you that you are not alone and that we're right here with you. And so I think that what's important is we figure out what we need or how we need to respond or kind of what we're feeling. And usually we feel it in our bodies, right? And so if you may feel it in your head or your heart or your feet or your legs or your back, but sit and feel where you feel the weight, or you feel the joy, or you feel the unease, or the disconnection, because your body is telling you something. And then hold what you need in your hand, where you feel like you need restoration in your hands. And so, and that can be figurative, right? Like it can be holding your beliefs. It can be holding systems that you feel like are broken. It can be holding hope for a brighter tomorrow. It can be holding any of those things. But when you hold those things in your heart and you center your body and you ground it, then you're able to, you will be able to feel the weight of it and how important it is to you. And then when we're fully present with the things that need restoration or transformation in our lives, we're fully present with people, then we can feel God's love and presence with us, because sometimes we just miss it because we're busy and we're going and we want answers and we're unsure about what's next. But when we stop and we feel it in our bodies and we hold it in our hands, we can believe in the gift of presence. And so I want you to be fully present with the things that you're feeling. I want you to be fully present with your neighbors, and so that means putting your phone down. My brother's favorite thing is to tell us when we're all on our phones to hang up and hang out. And so you may need to tell yourself that, right? If you are lost in the spiral on social media scrolling, or you're in a news cycle, or you're just reading so much stuff that's making you uneasy, like it did me this week, I had to tell myself to hang up and hang out and be fully present with myself and with my prayer, because I could not focus on my prayer or my meditation because I was too busy doing this, right? Believe in the gift of presence. Believe in the gift of your presence. Your presence matters. You showing up for yourself and for this community matters, because we will transform communities when we restore our hearts, right? We can restore communities when we are fully present with how we feel and fully present with God. And so take a minute each day, or a couple minutes, and take a deep breath and figure out where you need restoration in your life, where transformation needs to happen. And then we can join together, because we are so deeply connected in transforming our communities. Transformation will happen, friends. Transformation is best done together. You are not alone. You are not alone in your feelings. You are not alone in your heartbreak. You are not alone in anything that you're feeling. And restoration and transformation take time. But God is fully present with us here in this moment. And so please don't forget that. I want to read this one final piece to you. And it says this: in restoration, when we hold it in our hands, it's like we finally are able to see what we have hoped for so long. Our deepest hope is that God is truly with us in this, and that's what Christmas is meant to celebrate. But could it be that God has been with us already, just waiting for us to move from words to presence, to join God there? May you believe in the gift of your presence. May you bring the gift of presence to God's ongoing work of restoration, even in yourselves. Friends, you are so loved. You are so important, and you matter so much. And I am with you this week. And if you need somebody to talk to about anything that you're feeling, know that there's a bunch of us that are right here ready to listen. So let's do the work to figure out what transformation looks like in our communities. Let's figure out how to restore our hearts and restore what's going on in our world. And so this week, I hope that you will join me at 7:00 every night, and we'll just do it independently. You just show up at your house, you can light your candle, and we'll say those prayers together as we inch towards hopefully a brighter future. God is with you. Please don't ever forget it. You are incredibly loved, and you are so important. Bye, friends.
times like these, time and time again.